So you've probably heard of the ZERG Rush strategy before, a strategy developed in StarCraft where a ZERG player would spawn a shit ton of Zerglings right at the start of the game, which is ZERG's cheapest unit, then just send them straight at your opponent, completely overwhelming them and winning the game basically before it's even started. Well, as it turns out in Cross-Duel, there's a strategy that's very similar to this. So here's today's deck list. Now before I go through the deck list, we've got a bunch of stuff I have to quickly mention. So first of all, obviously this is my first cross-duel video on this channel. I've done a bunch of streams before, this is the first actual video I'm doing. So if you want me to do more cross-duel content in the future, make sure to let me know in the comments down below, as I'm very interested to see if people actually want to and what the view count this video will be and so forth and so forth. Also, remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel, as I'll be watching those very carefully as well to see how much interest there is in this game. Also, this game obviously isn't on PC, so this recording is done via my iPad. So if you're wondering where the game looks probably a little bit pixelated, a little bit stretched, maybe the ratio is a bit scuffed, it's because it's taken straight from my iPad and projected onto, my computer. So it's not going to be perfect, it's going to look a little bit scuffed, but that's just how it goes when I'm trying to record from my iPad. Alright, let's get into the actual deck list. So today's deck list is called ZERG Rush, or at least that's what I'm going to call it, as everyone else seems to be naming their decks really boringly, so I decided to name this one a bit more fun. So the entire purpose of this deck is to build it around Timegazer Magician, which, as you'll see, is only a rare monster. It's not even an ultra rare, which in this game is basically unheard of for your ace monster not to be an ultra rare, as you're meant to be building around big boys like Ojama King and your Blue Eyes White Dragon, but in this case, I'm just building it around Timegazer Magician. So the whole point of your ace monster in this game means that it will start in your starting hand, and on top of that, it allows you to have 3 skills attached to it as opposed to the one they normally have. Timegazer can have quite a few very, very powerful skills. Basically, it has Wizardry. Whenever you activate a spell card, this card gains 300 attack and defense, but you can have it on twice, meaning this card, whenever you activate a spell and trap card, gains 600 attack. On top of that, generally you don't need this, but if you can afford it, it's good to get a hold of it. You can get your immunity to position change, which makes it so that if your opponent has an enemy controller or a block attack or something that would change your card to defense position, you'll ignore it. You'll just go straight through and hit him in the face. So, to go with this guy, obviously, we just want a deck of only spell cards. Again, something completely unique. Nothing is like this in any other deck in Cross-Duel. So, I don't think Konami actually intends this to be a strategy, so I wouldn't be surprised if they end up nerfing this card in the future, just because it's probably not what they want, especially considering how cheap it is. As you'll notice, I'm not actually running any SRs or Ultra Rares, I'm just running any generic rare and normal spells I own. The only real important ones in this deck are ones that give piercing damage in case you come across something in defense position, because you need to be able to hit your opponent directly, which means you have to go through the defense position monster. Cards like the most important one is we're running, We're running your Opti-Camouflage Armor, which lets your monster stealth through your opponent's cards and go straight to their face to dome them. This is also the main reason we're using Timegazer, as there's a bunch of other cards that have the double Wizardry. It's just Timegazer happens to be a level 3 monster, meaning you can use Camouflage on him, reduce its attack a little bit, but then buff it thanks to the fact that, it gains the Wizardry buff, and it goes straight into your opponent and hits them in the dome. On top of that, we have a few other important cards, such as your MST. If your opponent has any back row, you can just pop that. There's a few upgrades you can get for this deck too, a few SR cards if you want to run them, but I don't happen to own them, nor would they make sense in a deck that's meant to be free to play. There's a bunch of cards like Enemy Controller, which can change battle positions. You have cards that can also give extra piercing damage. There's plenty of other SRs in the game that you can go through, look for yourself. But generally, you don't need them. You just need to have your Camouflage, you have to have some piercing damage, things like double attack, super good, as it means your card, when it hits them directly, will gain extra attack. We have cards like your Horn of Unicorn, just giving flat out attack buffs. Basically, literally any spell cards you own that give attack buffs, that give piercing damage, that give back row removal, literally anything that changes battle position. Another really important one would be Sword and Shield, which is actually exceptionally important, because if your opponent does reduce your monster's attack, you can just swap the attack and defense of your monster and use its defense instead, considering the Wizardry buffs the defense stat as well. The final 2 cards I'll mention in this deck list though is the 2 trap cards I'm running, as they're not spell cards obviously. That is Battle Mania, and I'm also running Shield Handler. Now Shield Handler is a card you pretty much have to run in this deck because a lot of people are going to be running Blue Eyes. And if you come across a Blue Eyes player, they'll just target your monster, destroy it, and you'll lose the game instantly. And at higher ranks, people will just use the Blue Eyes to target your Wizardry card because they know what's about to happen, even if it's not going towards them, because they don't want to lose the game or have the game end too early. So it's very important to have this card, protects you from the Blue Eye strat. Also, you have Battle Mania. Also, it also protects you from Dark Holes and some of the other central cards as well, like Mirror Force. Also, we have Battle Mania, which is a card that allows it so that when it battles an opponent's monster, it changes it to attack position. Very important, as it means you won't need piercing damage, and you just beat over your opponent's monster, then beat them in the life point department. Because in this game, if your opponent has a monster in defense position, your monster will swing into it, and then it'll end before it goes into their face. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the decklist portion of the video. The rest of the video will be gameplay showcasing the decklist in action with commentary. I'll also write out the entirety of the decklist in the description down below for anyone that doesn't know any of the cards that were shown on screen. And without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. So obviously today's gameplay is going to be formatted quite a bit differently than my standard stuff, as this game doesn't have a replay system yet, meaning I'm just going to have to record it live as I'm playing the game. Also, it may say on screen that I'm currently Bronze 1, which is true, but that's also because I just haven't played like basically at all since the start of preseason. It's very well proven this decklist is definitely better than Bronze 1. There have been plenty of people that have played a very similar decklist to the one I'm playing right now, and have reached the highest rank in this game. So I'm only Bronze 1 because I haven't played, and the game only just came out yesterday, so let's get into it. Alright. So, like I said in the gameplay, in the decklist portion of the video, this is a very quick deck. Games are going to end way sooner than they're meant to, literally on turn 2, whereas the average game length for this is like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 turns, so sometimes going all the way to 8, so this is going to be way quicker than normal. So hopefully I might record a couple of gameplays. I'm not really sure how long a recording goes for a gameplay like this, so we'll see. We might do a couple of replays for this video, or might just do the only one. We'll see how long it goes. Alright. So let's see what our starting hand is. We're looking for one particular card to make the combo exceptionally easy, and we didn't hit it. But not too bad, because we hit the backup. So normally, you'd want to get the card that allows your monster to pass through your opponent's monsters and hit them straight in the face, but getting piercing damage is a nice little backup just in case. I would also like to stop attack or something, because my opponent puts a monster in attack position over here, it will get really, really annoying. We'll see. Also going to set the shield handler as well, so my opponent has any blue eyes, we're completely safe to that. Perfect, he put it in defense. So if our opponent puts stuff in defense, we're happy about that, because it means he can't place a second monster. Because if your opponent attacks you right at the start of the game, generally, if he puts the attack position monster in the column your monster's in, it can make the game very rough, as it means that monster will then move forward, and he can place another monster behind it, and you will take a shit ton of damage. On your monster, that is. Your monster will take a shit ton of damage and lose a bunch of attack. He summoned a Blue Eyes, which is a bit annoying, but thankfully, we had the shield handler, so we're immune to the Blue Eyes effect. Which is good, because Blue Eyes is absolutely terrifying. This guy has 800 defense too. Pretty nice. He destroyed the speed card! Oh, he wants the center card, okay. Which is also fine, because it means that we're now safe to the Dark Hole and other stuff. Not going to activate any of my spell cards yet, because we're not going to allude my opponent to the plan of what I'm about to do to him. So we're going to be very secretive, keep our stuff in hand, hold it for a turn.
The monsters are moving.
Reinforcements, giving his dealer with an attack buff. Doesn't really matter, doesn't affect us at all. Alright. So here's the turn that matters. So he got the card in hand, so we're safe from basically all the cards you can get from the center because of our trap card. And we have piercing damage, so we are going to smack through this Burn Strix and absolutely pummel him. There's actually a really high chance we lethal here. It's really, really good. Our hand is great. As long as our opponents don't interrupt us with anything too annoying, we're safe thanks to our immunity position change. We're safe to things like Econ and block attacks and stuff. But sometimes your opponent might have some other annoying cards to reduce attack, or cards that can negate effects, or whatever. Really annoying stuff, so... He moves his card to attack position. Probably a good call. Alright, we're actually getting this is actually a perfect duel, as we're not getting pressured from either of the other lanes as well, so we don't really have to care about them. We just focus on making sure our opponent dies. I don't even have to activate my shackles to slow down any monsters, as there isn't anything to slow. I might do so anyway, just to gain a bit more damage. We'll see how much damage I need. The double attack's gonna be juicy here. The fact he put an attack position is so nice for us too, as we don't even need the piercing damage. Normally you need piercing to be able to actually attack your opponent in the face if they have something in defense. Then my opponent activates some stuff. Generally it's good to hold your spell cards until close to the end of the timer, because it means your opponent will use all their cards first. I'm going to use mine right now though, as I'm playing from a country that's definitely not the region this game is based in, so I've got a lot of lag. So if I try to play stuff close towards the end of the timer, I'll probably just time out, unfortunately. Alright, going to give me some more attack on that one, double attack. Alright, going to activate my... I guess I'll use piercing damage just to gain more attack. So don't be fooled by the double attack thing. The double attack thing just means I now get this little extra attack thing. So whenever I attack my opponent directly, I gain an extra 1,000 attack. Use stop defense on some random card as well. We'll put it in the lane that my opponent would be threatened by. So putting it on that monster across from me. That's heading towards one of my opponents, the opponent's lane we're targeting.
Well
done. How much attacks this thing got? Actually, that's already enough for lethal. But you know what? Fuck it. Just for show, do this as well. Put it on the card that may threaten me, the card directly opposite, in case he puts that in attack position. And now we should have lethal, provided our opponent doesn't activate anything too annoying. Though we are safe from any dark holes, so that's good. Our trap card is protecting us from dark hole. Alright.
The monsters are moving.
So if I have battles, I get my attack reduced, which is completely fine because we haven't attacked him in the face yet. And now my opponent's about to take 6 trillion points of damage straight to the dome. And that is how you end the game on turn 2 in first place. This deck is extremely feast or famine, by the way. Because, yeah, it's like extremely feast or famine. You either come first or you come dead last. You just hope you come first more than you come dead last. That's basically exactly how this deck works. Alright guys, as replays in this game seem to be fairly long, I'm going to leave it at just one replay for today. Remember, if you are enjoying this kind of content and want to see more cross-duel content in the future, make sure to let me know in the comments down below, and remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.